I want to do a quick video just to talk with you guys about spotting the moon. Some of you have been expressing that you're having a difficult time spotting the moon, and I want to help you to understand something. So in the Word, in Genesis 1:5, it says, God called the light day, and darkness he called night. And there was evening, and there was morning the first day. And so we know that God's days begin in the evening. There was evening, then there was morning, the first day. Okay, so that's what constitutes a day. I think that the thing that's muddling this up is that we have these apps and we have science telling us when the illumination of the moon, is going to be brightest and et cetera, et cetera. But we did not have these things when God made the command for us to look for the new moon, which, if this is new to you, new moon is crescent. You can't look for a dark moon. I think we can pretty safely assume that the reason why God did this is because when the sun is setting, this is when the moon is most visible. Or maybe it's maybe he did it the other way around. Maybe he made the command and then said, okay, now I'm going to establish something that's going to make it easy for them to identify the moon. But when you are trying to understand the phases of the moon, or you're thinking, well, what time does the new moon actually coming up? This is where you're going to go and identify or witness what moon you're in. Another witness that you would have had is a rooster. Unfortunately, we live on top of each other in cities and suburbs and with fake light and everything else, so it's kind of difficult to go by a rooster unless you're in an open field and with no natural light, because roosters crow at every kind of light. They don't distinguish between synthetic light or natural light. So if there are cars around, forget about it. But the rooster would alert you when light had come. So if this is something that you want to observe, and I sure hope that you do because it's commanded. And not only that, but if you're not observing new moon, you can't possibly be observing Sabbath because you don't know when Sabbath is. You're not counting it down. God's days are not named. They're numbered from the new moon. Listen to the way it was stated. 6 days of work, 1 day of rest. 6 days of work, 1 day of rest. With the new moon always being a day of rest, Amos 8:5. And therefore, from new moon, you have a day of rest, 6 days of work, day of rest, 6 days of work, day of rest. So you need to want to observe this. This isn't like extra credit. This is your covenant. It's a sign between you and God that you're in the covenant. And the absence of it can also be a sign that you're not. So go out there and find you a spot where you can get a good look at the sunset and just start practicing watching the sunset and watching the moon, getting familiar with its phases and where you're at on God's month and his lunar month. And if you have any questions, ask. And then start observing his new moon festivals. There are two. The first is a rest day. The next is a work day. And as you're watching the sun set and the moon become visible, just sit and enjoy the transition from one day to the next as God established it. Start getting that into your heart because you've spent a lot of years getting what the world has established into your heart, what the Romans established into your heart. Now spend some time getting into your heart what God established. And as always, please discern this message with God.